Are you going by Dawu still? You still going by Dawu?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I ain't saying my name.
Mr. Elamine?
Oh, you talking about the Darryl?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get confused. We all right.
Okay.
We're back in the house, sitting in for Pam and John today at the Pam and John Show. I'm your host, Dawud Elamine, coming to you out of women. I hope you got something out what I talked about. Just got I'm gonna repeat that again. What we said. I opened with. I don't have to have a special day to tell you I love you. Today will do just fine. I love you and understand that. I love my community. Love my people, love my family, and I'm learning I'm learning how to love. So with that, I'm going to introduce a sister who I have loved for some time. This has been my friend. I met her a while back, and I met her brother a while back, and they've been my family. When my brother came to town, I introduced her as my big sister. So without further delay, I don't say ado, but delay because ado means just organized noise. Miss Mildred Bethea is in the house with us.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to be here.
We are glad to have you. I thought Pam and John was going. I think they did a double on me. I think they said, "Well, we're gonna let him interview her this morning since he knows so much about what she's doing."
I know this has been. Pam too.
They'll be back in next week. I know this has been a passion of yours. I see our Facebook line is coming in, so I want you all to stay tuned right now because she's going to talk about something that our community needs. They need to hear about. If you get it, if you're online, I need you to share it. I need you to get this information out here, and I need you to be at this event. I'm asking you from No Covers to support this event and listen carefully. Mildred, tell us about what you got going on Saturday, and just give us some background.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you for having me here, and thank you for believing in my cause. You always have supported me, and the love is mutual.
Always.
And I think the relationship and friendship has gone back maybe about 13 years or so. Mm-hmm. So it's been a minute. But anyway, so like you said, Saturday there is an event coming up. It happens to be November. We're in November, and this is Bone Marrow Awareness Month. The good thing about that is it's November, it's Bone Marrow Awareness. We talk about the Thanksgiving weekend coming up. It's Thanksgiving. Personally, for me, it's my birthday. And also 10 years ago was my rebirth for when I got a stem cell transplant. So to go back a little bit, roughly about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And the treatment from the breast cancer actually pushed me into a second cancer, which was leukemia. From the leukemia, I went into a third cancer called myelodysplastic syndrome. And after the 3 cancers and the chemotherapies and various treatments, my bone marrow was diseased, which means without a healthy bone marrow, you have nothing to fight off anything. I needed a bone marrow transplant. 10 years ago, the National Registry had about 7 million people in it. And I did not match 1 out of 7 million people, not one person.
Can you explain to us real quickly, because I don't think most of our people know, what is the National Registry?
The National Bone Marrow Registry is the huge organization around this nation and country that allows donors to come forth and join, saying that they're willing to help save lives. When I speak of being a bone marrow match, what it entails is a swab, like a DNA testing, like maybe one of the paternity test type of things, if that helps. But they do that, and that puts you in the registry. The age limit to get into the registry now is 18 to 44 if I'm doing it as what I call a live drive. Say if you come to the event on Saturday, if you're over 44, I won't be able to swab you. That entails you going online, making a financial donation, and them sending you a self-swab kit. On Saturday, I'd like to see as many 18 to 44-year-old young, healthy people come out to this event, which I'll tell, where it's at, as possible, so that I can personally swab them and thank them, for coming out, as you're saying, showing that love. So with that being said, November the 4th at Purpose Church, which is 1470 Kerr Avenue, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. will be this marrow drive. Now, when I asked could I do this, it was with the thought of it's Bone Marrow Awareness Month, and Purpose is the church that I attend, and they are supporting me in doing it. But once I got the okay on that, from my rep in Charlotte, I learned of a 6-year-old child that lives in Havelock, and he is in need of a match. He's dealing with sickle cell anemia and has been since he was born. So when you talk about, what does a bone marrow transplant help? It helps people that suffer from sickle cell. It helps people like myself that have leukemia, lymphoma. I'm sure people have heard of myelodysplastic syndrome or myeloma. So those are just a few of the blood cancers or diseases that it could help, make a difference and give that person a normal life.
I want to take you back to something you said. You said you didn't have a match initially.
Right.
Can you give our audience a sense of why that was there and why our community needs to be strong about giving matches?
Yes. So as I said, 7 million people in the registry 10 years ago. Of that 7 million, only about 500,000+ were African Americans. Now, that's a lot of people versus how many African Americans, made up that pie, so to speak. To get a bone marrow transplant, it really has nothing to do with your blood type. It has to do with the ingredient called a stem cell that makes up your blood. So they extract the stem cell from your blood, and that's what they give the patient who needs a transplant. The thing with the stem cell and the matching is that it is based on your ethnicity, basically, your genetic makeup. So it is found that people of the same ethnicity are more likely to have matching markers that can help that person survive better than someone that does not have any of those genetic capabilities or cells within, their type. So this is why out of that huge population of the total and how many African Americans, that's why I didn't match anybody. Now, how am I blessed to be sitting here? Because there is another bank that I was fortunate enough to, I was at Duke, and Duke holds what they call a public umbilical cord stem cell bank, and it's called Carolina Cord Blood. So once they found that I didn't match an adult in the 7 million, they searched their public umbilical cord bank. Now, we're going back 10 years, okay? And 10 years ago, just like now, a lot of people don't know that you can do this. So for a mother to have given her baby's umbilical cord stem cells to that bank, that was the only cord blood that I matched. That was the only one. So I say that to say you have the swabbing, which puts adults being able to help. And then you have women that are childbearing age who, when they have the baby, instead of the cord becoming medical waste, if they are aware that they can publicly do this, they can make their doctors know about it, and then they can donate the stem cells from the cord, which can help save a life as well.
Explain in detail that process, and what is the reluctancy of mothers to do that?
Okay, so the details. You have to make up your mind between your 28th and your 34th week. It can't be when you get to the hospital, this is what I want to do. Because the process is just that, it's a process. You have to call the cord blood bank, you have to get your data in their database, you have to let your physician know so that if he doesn't deliver the baby, whoever's on call will know, and if they have never done it before, they need to be educated. So what the education entails is a cord blood bank sending that practice a DVD. Of course, if a doctor can deliver a baby, he'll understand the DVD's process. So once the baby is born, the cord is clamped. And when it's clamped and cut, then from that portion, they'll extract the stem cells, which is what will go back to the cord blood bank, and it'll be on ice for someone like myself who didn't find an adult match. If they're fortunate enough to match the umbilical cord cells, then voila, here I am. Okay? It sounds extremely it is a scientific. It's a blessing that God has allowed us to get into a place where we have this type of knowledge. You know, what is the hesitancy? A lot of the hesitancy comes, I guess, it's historical. I mean, I'm looking at some things right here: barriers to a transplant, lack of health care on some, situations. Some people don't have insurance on the receiving end. The lack of timely referral for the transplant, that's for the patient. Mostly an inability to find a match, a decline in health, a lack of education, a lack of knowledge, fear. I don't know.
I want to go into that lack of knowledge. I've been following you for years with this, and as we've been talking about this for years, as I researched, correct me if I'm wrong, there are other communities that take their sales and put them in a bank and pay for it.
Right.
For it to stay there in case a family member in their line needs it. So I got a daughter or son that's having a child.
Right.
I'm going to take it and put it somewhere.
Right, and pay for it.
Pay for it.
To keep it exclusive.
Just for me. So if anything happens down the road, so that's information that it seems like our community just doesn't have. Why is it not getting out there? Why we don't hear it? It's not talked about in our church. It's not talked about in the mosque. It's not talked about in our health centers. Because it seems like they getting ready to live a long time off this.
It's interesting that you say that and ask that, because in the time that I've done it, okay, I won't say I've been knocking at the door every single day over the course of the 8 years that I've been advocating, but pretty much in small town Wilmington, I'm kind of known for doing this, and this is how I'm alive, after all of the processes that I've been through. I won't say that there hasn't been some people that has come on board, especially with the umbilical cord part, but it's just not. I can't even put my finger on it.
Is it a fear factor?
Most likely.
Is it a fear because of experimental history with blacks?
So that's why I say historically, because historically we know that we've had some situations occur that make us kind of pull back and not necessarily run forward with, I'm so willing to do this. When I was going through and I was blessed to come on the other side of everything, in understanding how we think per se, I felt that if I was a walking, talking, living, you see me in front of you, I don't look like somebody else just trying to sell this to you, I look like you, that it would be, embraced better.
That's why I need our folks out there on Saturday.
So when I came in and you were talking about love and the commandments and Christianity and all these different things, it really falls in line with this, whether people want to believe it or not. Because if you're your brother's keeper, and if you have something that can help me, why not give it to me? Especially if this is a free situation. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for your house. We're not asking for anything except for if you're healthy, come forward, join the registry. Let me tell you, let me just share some figures with you, what the likelihood is of you possibly even matching somebody. Let's see if I can find those numbers. Okay, so there will be a 1 in 40 registry members will be called for additional testing. This is after you swab. Okay. 1 in 40. Then it'll be 1 in 300 that will even be selected for possibly being a donor for a patient. Then you move on to that, it'll be 1 in 430 who will actually be a donor. So, I know people that have joined the registry 8 years ago. There's one young lady, she begs every day. She says, should I come and swab again? Because they haven't called me yet. That's what you call a cheerful giver.
That's love.
Okay?
That's that love.
That's what you call a cheerful giver. I'm like, I wish she would match somebody. Right. She came to my house and swabbed in my kitchen. That's how adamant she was. You got those type of people. And then you got the ones that, as I'm talking about this drive, and I'm basically begging, because this is a 6-year-old child. Him and his family will be coming down from Havelock. They will be here on Saturday. I can't even imagine what it's like, because in his instance, there was a match that didn't come through. There was a match, but they didn't come through. So how do you even absorb that?
To match it at the last minute, they pulled out.
For whatever reason, I don't know if they pulled out or if the health changed, along the way. But whatever the reason, there was one, and now there isn't. But again, in my thinking, if more of us came forth, so let's talk numbers now.
Okay.
It's 2.5 million people in the registry now. And of that 2.5 million, there's 730,000 African Americans.
Okay.
Now, 10 years ago, when I was going through, it was 550,000. So that's not a huge jump in our population versus from 7 million to 10.5 million that the registry has increased. And what I am finding is other minority ethnicities, Hispanics, Asians, Indians, mixed race, it's more of them coming forth than
and this
us.
is the national registry.
Yes.
This is not including numbers going to the paid bank.
No.
That's
not
the free bank.
No, the paid bank is not in
That's not even in there. So we have them donating to that bank, and we got a money.
Now, the numbers I'm speaking of here are in reference to adult donors, not the umbilical cord.
Right.
Okay. This is the ones that I'm looking to come swap.
Okay.
The 18 to 44.
So you're looking at 18 to 44 this weekend.
Yes. Good general health consists of never having had a cancer, no hepatitis, no HIV, no back surgery. Because now let me talk about the ways to give if you're called. We talked about the stem cell coming from the mother who donates to Public Umbilical Cord Bank. Oh, and as Mr. Elamine mentioned, if there's a expectant mother who hears this and her doctor doesn't tell her about this bank, that's the good thing about this. You can ask him, well, what about? Because if he's only telling you about the bank that you can pay for, or maybe depending on some situations, you might not even be getting told about that. You're just totally not told about any options. Please hear me. I'm sitting here in 3 days, 10 years after getting a baby's umbilical cord stem cells. Those stem cells are the most intelligent aspect of our human body because they make up our blood. They make up the red, the white, the platelets. And them coming from a newborn, they're untainted. Not only that, they're immature. And in the immaturity, they have such an intelligence level that they know how to come into my body. I was 47 years old, a 47-year-old body, and take it over and become what it has become today. So I'm partially, whoever that child is, I will never know because that's an anonymous donation. I will never know the mother, but they gave me life. They changed my blood type. My blood type has become that of the baby's.
Let's pay some bills and we're going to come right back. Still with my Facebook Live family over here. That's all the people online. We're still live here. We're going to live with them. Stay on
talk.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to go back to, I want to talk about some of the barriers that you had.
Second.
We're going to talk about some of the barriers that you had coming doing this.
Some of the barriers.
Over the course of time.
Oh, just people not coming through.
Yeah, just started to beep, go plain as you got plain.
Just like now. I'm like, is anybody going to come Saturday? Even within the church, they have said, the pastors have said, yes, I can do it. And then they're not even going to be there Saturday. They're going to be at a family reunion.
We're gonna get them out there. I got the attention right now.
You know, or even they've allowed me to present in the church, and my information has been out there. It's been sitting at the front, laid out. They just walk right on by.
Yeah,
But see, I hate for something to have to happen to somebody for them to be like, oh.
I needed that. Look at it.
What time you get off from here? How long are you here?
We wrap up by 9:45.
And then you off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I want to run something by you.
Okay.
So the 24th, that's Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Mm-hmm. We're doing it on Friday and Saturday.
That's when everybody be running out there to Burger or somewhere and going to the whatever to do their Christmas shopping. Are you going to come on now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm going to ask you something.
All right, we're back here in with Mildred Bethea. I'm talking about the SWAB event this weekend, Saturday, November the 4th, 2017. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Purpose Church, 1470 Kerr Avenue. That is at the Purpose Church, 1470 Kerr Avenue, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Family, this is Thursday. I need you to get on the phone. I need you to get on your horns. I need you to get on your Facebook page. I need you to go to my page. I need to share it and tell our community that we need to get our people in this registry and get rid of the fear factor that we have. I want to say something, and the reason why I wanted her on the station today, I've watched this sister. I remember when she needed to get the transplant, needed to get the cells. I watched her with this mission. I've watched her lose friends behind this mission, because I understand, because I have a mission with no covers, and because I have a mission with no covers, it's a drive that I have. So remember we talked earlier about love. The way love works, it works on both sides of the street. I'm reading something recently on Brene Brown, on shame and these books that Frankie has me reading. But love is equal. It works on both sides of the street. If you tell me something, I have to hold that. In fact, I tell you something, I expect you to do the same, because that's how love works. It's a two-way street. So when I'm passionate about something, if you love me, if you can't join me, at least get on the sideline and get two pom-poms and say, go, go. Just raise some pom-poms or something. But don't sit back and do nothing. So the sister is passionate. I mean, I say passionate. This has been her work. I've watched her alternate her work schedules, alternate jobs, so that she could get this organization off the ground and keep this information out there. So when someone does that, is important. So what I need us to do, especially my page there, my family there, I need you to spread this, because we need to have 1,000 people. 1,000. We're going for 1,000. We need 1,000 people out there at the Purpose Church on Saturday to help support this. What?
That would be a blessing.
let's do it, family. Because
that would really be a blessing.
Y'all start hitting the phone line. What's the barriers?
I'm speechless. I mean, like I just kind of read, like I said, that was on the receptive side for the patient, the lack of health care, limited insurance. I just keep coming up with prime example. Earlier in the week, I saw something that Robin Roberts had done about breast cancer. And she was saying that us as a culture, we're secretive. We don't, and I think today we can call that secretive or in denial. I think a lot of it is denial. We don't want anybody to know that we've dealt with something, because you know what? From my own experience, you are looked at different. When I sit here and say I've been through these processes, these cancers, I mean, it has, my life has changed. But I've had to be like, okay, the alternative was I didn't have to be here today. So for whoever like shuns me or think that I'm some kind of science project or whatever, God bless you, because one, I didn't ask for any of this. Who would have asked for all of that? But nobody asked for cancer. Nobody asked, for any of the things that come against us that just change our life, so to speak, in a, I don't want to say a bad way, because this is a good thing, and it's given me new life. It's given me a cause, but I don't know the answers to that. I mean, Be the Match is the national organization. They don't have the answer, so I truly can't have them.
Now, you mentioned Robin.
Mm-hmm. I would love to get with that sister.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think would happen if Robin came?
Well, it's not like I haven't tried, okay? I have written the letter and sent it certified mail. I mean, we have a lot in common.
Okay. We
have a lot in common. We're two Black women. We've been through the same type of cancer. We've been through the bone marrow transplant. I would just envision the day of doing a drive.
So what would you think happened if we had Robin here on Saturday? What would happen?
I can tell you. Number one, she's Robin Roberts. It's her name.
So
she's a celebrity status. So everybody will come running, if nothing but to see her or to join, because it's her.
So if Robin came, you telling me that we can probably get 5,000?
I don't want to. I know you'll get a lot. You'll get a large.
So we're gonna get a big turnout with just name recognition on. Yeah. So for fam, I'm gonna say this. This our Robin. So I don't need Robin to come. I'm gonna say this out of love, family. This our Robin. See, that's our problem. Yeah. This the problem here. If you just describe yourself and Robin almost identical.
We are. I mean,
so
it's crazy.
If I got Robin here, then I need my pastors out here to understand this our Robin. I need my imams, I need them to understand this. I need my politicians to understand. I don't need Robin to come in. I'm looking at Robin. What do I need? See, that's our problem as a people. We have to have, we have to have a grand star to come in to make a point for something we should love to do every day. So if Robin comes and say, do it, I'm going to do it. Well, I need Pastor John, Pastor Jinx, Pastor this one. I need y'all to get up there in the pulpit. I need my because that's who they look up to on Sunday. I need my ministers, my imams in the mosque, since the folks follow you to get, since you understand my community leaders that's out here. I need you to say, no, we don't need Robin. I got 100 people to follow me. You got 100 people to follow you. This one over here got 250 to follow them. I need all us to come together. And not only this our Robin, we got a city council race coming up. And we split on that, but we need to come together and move forward. And it can be done when I leave. So am I calling my leaves out? Yes, I'm doing that this morning. I know I do that all the time anyway. I'm getting in trouble again. Pastor, don't throw me off the ad first day. But yeah, it's what we need. We need our community leaders to step forward and understand. I don't need to see Robin. I'm looking at Robin right now because you just described you're all identical.
Yeah, in a lot of ways we are.
All identical.
Look, I know, even down to being born the same month and year.
Yeah, and I know you've been trying to reach out to. It's not like you haven't been trying. I know for history of that you've been trying to reach out to for some time. How many years you been doing this?
2009 was when I came out at the MLK parade.
Who funds this program?
Well, Driving for Change is not a funded program. Driving for Change is a grassroots organization that came about as a result of my experience, my personal experience. And the name came about because that was the time that Obama was, campaigning. And, I liked what he was talking about. And so I said, well, he's driving for change in his way, and so am I. So that's how it was named. Pretty much all my literature here that you see that talks about the umbilical cord and how to do it, all of that comes from Be the Match, because I am what they call a ambassador volunteer for them.
Okay.
So they provide most of my information and whatnot.
What give and maybe tell your people your background experience as far as health is concerned.
Ooh. Okay.
Because sometimes people have like, who's this rookie off the street? Because I don't want to think rookie off the street when it comes to this.
Well, I'm not a rookie. I moved here 19 years ago from Chicago. My family actually originates from this area, and I did live here as a child. So I have worked in the healthcare industry. I have been what they call a health unit clerk, both at the VA in Chicago, as well as our local hospital here in Wilmington. I did go back to school. I got a degree in health information technology. And currently, outside of all the other experience that led me up to that, I am what they call a remote HCC coder.
And that is?
That is someone who codes medical records for reimbursement.
Well, I wanted to get that. I knew some of it. I didn't know all that. Man. You spit up a little bit here. Yeah, I know all that.
So not only have to me, that doesn't mean a whole lot, except for it blessed me when I was walking through stuff, because I worked in an environment where not only was I seeing doctors, I did get to handpick my doctors. And I did get to, question what I was being told from one person to another to give me some kind of security in the information. And I have to say, had I not been working in the field and going through all of this, it would have been really difficult, because one of the things I see patients deal with, not to mention I do have a certificate as a patient navigator. And I also am a counselor for the healthcare.gov Obamacare stuff. So everything that I kind of put my foot in or what have you, it is within healthcare. But to turn around and then have to walk through these processes, it's like, oh my gosh, for somebody who doesn't understand or hasn't had or doesn't work in the field, it could be really, really, the words, the terminology, it can be extremely
so you said healthcare navigator. What are the problems with blacks navigating through the system? Or navigating through the system as a whole, period?
Let me just say this. And yeah, it's blacks, but it's not just blacks. I sit and I see a lot of things, and it's like, God, thank you that I've been in the environment. I kind of know how to maneuver. I know people I can pick up the phone and call, because either they are a nurse or they are a doctor, or somebody still in the field. But for African Americans, and this was something Robin Roberts talked about on her special, a lot of times we don't go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. Again, that comes back to that secrecy or that denial. We wait too late. We procrastinate. We're non-compliant to what we're being told to do, that can help us. And then oftentimes what that does, it sets us back, and our situation is either exacerbating or advancing. So by the time we do get to see someone, we're in a place with that situation that may not necessarily be a good place. Now, that's not everybody, and that's not all things, because a lot of illnesses can hit you silently, and by the time you get any signs and symptoms of them, it's already in an advanced stage. But I know for like the breast cancer and things like that, just talking to women about doing their self-breast exams. You wash your body every day. You touch yourself every day. You shouldn't have a problem checking yourself and, seeing and feeling it, unless that thing is so deep inside that it's not on the surface that you can't feel it. You should pretty much be able to pick up your own lump or something.
I know it's difficult, but I battle with sarcoidosis myself. So battling that, I try to do it. I love doctors. I do a lot of natural stuff myself, but I understand the system and understood that I wouldn't have found out about it unless my brother knew the signs of it, and we were able to find it and catch it up at an early stage that it doesn't affect me now. What would you? And I tell those that, I say that because a lot of times those that have the illnesses can't participate, but you can advocate. If you can't participate, advocate. I want to say that. Just don't think but I ain't got to worry about that. I ain't going to. Right. No, advocate. Somebody, you have a family member, a relative, or someone else that does have good health. And a lot of our young people can help because they have good health right now. And do we have a black bank?
We have blackbonemarrow.org, which is a Black organization that focuses on just what I'm doing.
Okay.
But as far as a Black bank,
where families can help each other store the court.
Because when you talk about banks, that's just like we don't have a bank here in Wilmington. Okay, when you talk about banks, you're talking ultra millions of dollars for all of that. Yeah. You talk about these cells being stored, cryo, whatever that is, it freezes them, and it's a lot to it. So, it's a lot of money.
And I asked that question so we could see. I thought you would go
possible,
there. But how far are we behind? We have. That's the purpose of your unity that we're trying to push here, especially at the radio station. That love and that unity will help us overcome a lot of the issues that we have, because we can help each other. And if we can help you, and then the next person can help the next person with that love and unity, then there's so much we can do. Yes. But if I don't see your passion, your mission as my mission, and you don't see my mission as your mission, then we dead in the water. That's true. That's what so upsets me with this city.
It's funny you say that, because at Bible study last night, the word passion came up, and it took me back to a previous pastor who said to me, and it was the blunt truth. And now that I've matured, those words are ringing in my head, because he was just like, your passion is not everybody's passion. Like, they don't feel that way about it. So you have to get with that.
Yeah.
But again, like my pastor said last night, if it's your passion, then that's what you do. You just get with it.
And I can bear witness
that
in the years I've known you, you be getting with it. Let's pay some bills and we come right back and close out.
I haven't been 100 because I have pulled back quite a bit. I've grown weary in this.